now my boys and I are in Thailand. It is June 16, 2009 that we arrived in Thailand, and here we are. And I worked 3 months at that school. Maybe later I will tell you some experience that hit me in that school. So many experiences. The devil hated what I was doing. He attacked me head on, but God is way more powerful. So I will tell you terrible things that happened to me right away. I almost got killed by the Burmese soldiers and demon possession, but maybe I will tell you that in a later talk. Well, after I'd been to the school, that was 3 months, I never went back to America because I fell in love with the Quran people. These little students at the school, they were Quran, and they've told me stories how they had to flee into the jungle so many times when the Burmese came and burned their village down. Some of them had even seen their parents tortured and killed. And so these people are in so much need. I had set up kind of like a clinic there because I am an old nurse, a retired nurse from the ER, and I would help the sick while there and talk with these children in the school and teach them. But after 3 months, I couldn't leave. I decided God wanted me to dedicate my life to the Quran people and help them. After 10 months at that school, I heard God calling me to go somewhere where there wasn't anybody, because by that time, there were a lot of white people at the school, missionaries, and I felt like God wanted me to go where there's nobody. So 3 things happened that told me exactly where to go. First of all, somebody knew about a little village called Biota. Deep in the jungle, it would be at least from that school 4 hours drive, and we went on motorbikes and visited that school. I was with several others. I think my boys didn't come that time. And I went there and I thought, well, this is fine if this is where God wants me to be. But the 3 things were somebody donated enough money for me to buy a truck. And then Bledjaw, the young man that was principal at the school at the time, very young, he felt God calling him to come and work with us. Third of all, a pastor from the north knew that area. He came down and he showed us, we had come back in and he showed us around at other villages, and he said that most of these people don't know God and they never heard the name of Jesus. And so we packed our things, which didn't take long. We didn't have much of anything. And we found this Mitsubishi truck. It was a secondhand truck, and we found it the second day we were looking, and it was for the exact amount that we had been donated. And so we felt God in that. The drive in to Biota was terrible. I felt like we need a helicopter to come in here, not a truck. But Bradley, my oldest, that one there with the white t-shirt, good driver, great mechanic, and both the boys say know mechanics very, very well, and they're good drivers. So we made it in, and this is our arrival. The people had built us a bamboo hut, and this hut was made kind of quickly. The bamboo needed to be soaked in the water for at least a week, but it hadn't been soaked long enough, and then it needed to be out in the sun for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and it hadn't taken that long either. So this bamboo is full of little bugs, and so dust is all inside this house. And if you leave for a few days, you'll see dust piled up around the edges and on the floor, and it didn't smell real good. But this is going to be our home for who knows how long till God calls us away. Now, this work did not go smoothly. I thought maybe nobody would notice me, not even the devil, but subconsciously, I'm just little, I'm in a little village, and I'm just going to do my best for Jesus. Well, this is my kitchen. This is all we had. It took us maybe 15 minutes to move in. This is my bedroom that I slept there on the bamboo floor, and bamboo floors are comfortable to sleep on, might I add. And then we cooked outside. We had that little pot that we had the fire in and stones, and we would cook out there. Everything is on a slope on the mountainside, and so it's not even. When I cooked the curry, well, right when it was finished, the rock would slip and the pot would fall and all the food come out. But Micah, my younger son, he was very good at cooking outside. We bathed in the river and washed our clothes in the river, and we cooked outside. I thought we'd make it really good through the first rainy season. Right there in the jungle we have 3 seasons. 1 is cold season for 2 months. 2 is hot, 3 or 4 months, and most of the time it's rainy season. Each season is very harsh because in the cold season people stay in their houses and they have fires where they cook right in the center of every hut, and they stay by the fire and smoke fills the room. So everything they are breathing is smoke. And then in the hot season, they are clearing a mountainside afresh every year. They wait for that to dry, the trees that they've cut, and then they burn. So in the hottest season of the year, which is March and April, the air is full of smoke, and the air pollution index is terrible. And so there's all that smoke. And then in rainy season, 100% humidity. And let me tell you, when I first went to Thailand, rainy season was 4 months, from June to September. Then it became through part of November and started in May. And this year it started in April, a little bit intermittently, and then got heavier and heavier. And so almost half a year we're in rainy season. And I will show you later the mud and our mode of transportation when the rain hits. Well, things didn't go real well for us. One day, we needed to go and renew our visa. We were still on a tourist visa at the time, and we decided to go on the motorbike because our truck is too expensive. We had no money. And so Bradley had a motorbike for himself, and Micah and I were on the other, and we were about an hour out, going up an isolated mountain, curving around, and a truck came around on the wrong side of the road. It hit Bradley head on, and I saw it happen, and I think he should die. Hit so hard. And then he veered off and he hit Micah and I on the other motorbike, and we're all sprawled out on the street. And so immediately I heard God shouting in my right ear, and it said, "In all things give thanks, for this is the will of God for you." And Bradley is saying, Mom, turn off the motorbike, turn it off. And I said, "Thank you, Jesus," because he told me to thank him. And now I know Bradley's mind is working. He's telling me to turn the bike off. So I check him head to foot. This arm is mangled, the left forearm and the right lower leg, but not too sure about in between. But he's conscious, and he had a full face helmet on, which helped. Micah is sprawled over in the ditch over here, and suddenly I hear him say, Mother, blood is coming out of my mouth. And then I'm scared because as a nurse, if you're medical, you will know that that means internal bleeding when it comes out of the mouth. And so I rushed to the ditch where Micah was, and as I get to him, he says, "Oh, Mother, it's just a little cut on my lip." And so once again, thank you, Lord Jesus. Well, from there, the driver, I thought, was going to get out of the truck and give us a little sympathy. But when he got out of his truck, he was furious. He was so angry that Bradley had dented the front of his truck. And so we had no sympathy from him. I moved the motorbikes out of the street, and somehow, I don't remember how, we got out of the road and got in the back of that man's truck, and he was going to take us to the hospital. Well, he was furious, and so he's going fast down the mountain. He's going around the corners, blowing the horn and skidding around the corners, and then he stops at the first police station because the Thai people are always right and the foreigner is always wrong. And so he got a police report, and then on to the hospital we went. Well, the first small hospital examined, and Micah, my younger son, was fine. Somebody came and took him home. But Brady and I, we had to go to the bigger hospital for his surgery because his bones were displaced, tibia and fibula in his lower leg and in his arm mashed. And so the doctor looked at the x-ray and he said, well, the tibia, I will fix it. But the fibula, which was like displaced like that much, he said, we won't fix it because it only takes 20% of the weight. I said, well, while you're in there with the tibia, you will fix the fibula too and straighten that out. But you know, he didn't. So Brady came out of surgery looking like this. I have to sleep under the bed because you have to have a caregiver. There's no caregivers in the hospital. You are the one. I had only been going to renew my visa, so I only had a little backpack and slept under the bed on that dirty floor until some kind lady gave me a blanket. I didn't care if it was dirty or what it was. We were in like a MASH unit there because it's a border hospital, a general hospital, and it's taking in all the landmine victims from Myanmar and all the gunshot wounds and all the long-term infections. Everybody looked much worse than my son, with their arms and legs blown off and massive wounds. But Brady was sent home with crutches. He learned to walk on this elbow and on this leg. And so then we went to do our visa. To make a long story short, remember that the experience to be gained in the furnace of trial and affliction is worth all the pain it costs. It's the work of faith to rest in God in the darkest hour, to feel how sorely tried, tempest-tossed, that our Father's at the helm. The eye of faith alone can look beyond the things of time, to estimate aright the worth of eternal riches. And do you remember my poem that Jesus, God, gave to me? Oh, dear Jesus, take control. And Jesus will take control of your life in the darkest hour. He is right there. And you know, from the time on, God really has been in control of my life, and I don't want it to be any different. I want to stay in the center of His will and leave Him to be in control of everything, because this is bringing joy. This brings communication and God to speak to your mind and to your ear. In fact, my email address is jesustakecontrol@gmail.com, so you can email me anytime. Easy to remember. Remember at the call of God when He points out a work to do in His name, and with full faith take up that work. You may not see the end from the beginning. Perplexities may surround you. Your brother may tell you of the lions in the way, but nevertheless go forward, saying, the Lord wants this work done. I will not fail. I will not be discouraged. I will act my part. And just remember, words that you get from God are always lifting you up, always encouraging, always lifting your burdens. But when you feel oppressed and you feel pushed down, Satan is at work, because he does not want you to see the loveliness and the beauty of God. He does not want you to hear God's voice. And so many quotes were given me during that time. But God doesn't let you just be discouraged and struggle against great odds and be overcome. He preserves as a precious jewel everyone whose life is hid with God. Now, throughout that next year, we had to pay for that man's truck. We didn't get our visa. We went again after Bradley recovered a little bit, but we were late, and they didn't like our passport or our visa. We couldn't get an extension. We had to fly into Laos. And I had no money, but I had to keep going to the ATM to pull out Lao money to pay for a flight to Laos. And I didn't have it, but the money kept coming out of ATM, and we flew. They didn't give us our extension. We were told to get it when we get back to Thailand. We didn't get it there either. And finally, Bradley, my older son, he went back to America. He had been discouraged. He really had had a hard time. But Micah, my younger son, stayed on because he was very happy. He was still teaching at the school, and he had an important role and work to do for God, and he was happy. But Bledjaw stayed with me. The next year, Micah left also. And so it was just Bledjaw and I. And this young man has stayed with me the whole 15 years that we have been in Biota, this little village. God keeps renewing His contract with me to stay. And through the years, God has helped us and helped us reach more and more people for Jesus in the jungle. Here He is here. And here is His family. He is a wonderful father, a wonderful husband, and because I worked with him for 15 years, he is my son. And these children are my grandchildren. And his wife does not live in Biota. We do 2 weeks in Biota and 1 week with his family, or nothing works out as scheduled, because sometimes the need is worse in Biota, sometimes the need is worse with his family or people around there, because I take care of the sick, and the sick are everywhere. And so I go where I'm needed. But he is very fortunate, because Karen people, it's not like life in Canada or America or Mexico or anywhere else. It's the Karen people that have no place to call their home or their own. And so the men have to go off to Chiang Mai or Bangkok to find work, and they can't come home and see their family for maybe 1 or 2 years. But with Bledjaw working with me in the jungle, he can go home anytime he has to, and on a good day, it would just take maybe 2.5 to 3 hours to get there. He can get there. Even in the mud, we seem to find a way through. You're going to see a lot of mud. These are the kind of houses that the people live in. Some of them are quite rich because I live in the biggest opium center of Thailand, and the government comes out to arrest and to get rid of the opium. It's illegal, but people always have plenty of opium that they can get if they want it. When I first came there, it was evident that the people really hadn't seen a white person before. This man said to me one day, "Is it true that the white people eat the Karen babies?" And so we assured them, "No, I'm there to help them." And this is what they do. In their belief, they feel like they've got to please the spirits. They are really chained by spirit worship. And if somebody in their family or home is sick, they have to call the spirits back. This man, he's got beer, he's got raw chicken meat, and rice. And he has to beat this stick and chant, and he's calling the spirits back because they feel like if the spirits get too far away, they will die, or that person will die. It's very sad how far away they are. They don't know God. Also, Buddhism is like 99% of all of Thailand, and even on the highest mountain on my way to Biota is this big Buddhist temple. It actually has helped us out a lot because it used to be dirt road with just a few little sections of cement all the way into Biota, which would be 27 to 30 kilometers. And now 20 kilometers of it has been paved by the monks up to that pagoda. So year by year, a little more has been paved, and we don't have to go that long way around, and so it will take us less time. And so you will see little shelves throughout the jungle with, they put little drinks and food and things to please the spirits. They are so possessed by heathenism. And this is how they cook their food, and this is how they stay warm in the winter. Right in the middle of their hut, the bamboo turns very black from all the smoke, and they cook there on that fire. They eat mostly rice. The poor people, they at least have rice and chilies to eat. We visit people 3 days a week, and we eat with them in their home, and sometimes it's just rice and chili. But that's fine with me because I don't eat meat. They live on the meat and the things that they can find in the jungle. Here's some rice, the little boy. But usually that's not all they eat. Bledjaw, my worker, and I, we love dogs. And the dogs are kicked around, and the dogs are no good, according to the people there. And they all have this little kind of Thai look, these dogs. But they all have different personalities, and they're lovely. So through the years, we have had feed the dogs, and they go from mangy and skinny and sickly to looking like this, healthy. This one with the black face is called Trouble, and the white one is Trudy. Anyway, we love these dogs, and they're so thankful they follow us around. But eventually, time after time, the dog disappears. Somebody has eaten it. I usually run every morning, used to run every day, and there were 7 fat little puppies that would be in my way when I ran through the village, and one day they're all gone because the children came and killed them all and ate them. Our people eat everything. They eat rat. This lady is really happy because a little boy had caught 20 rats. And so as we came in the house to visit her in her village of Nelagui, we smell this horrible smell, and we go inside, and she is roasting rat. They don't know any better. They just do what their ancestors have done the hundreds and hundreds of years. He has found some katydids, do you call it? Anyway, cicadia bugs, the big ones. They come out every year where I am, and he's going to roast these. these things. So they will eat fly, they will eat grubs, they will eat certain kind of spiders and bugs and toads and lizards and crawdads and any kind of bird they can shoot or any kind of animal they can shoot in the jungle. But it's easy to catch these rats. The field rats are huge, and we would really like to get rid of them in our house. We have problems with all kinds of bugs and spiders, the big kind that jump and can kill you, and then these mosquitoes that carry disease, malaria, dengue fevers, and then there's all kinds of itching, biting, bugs and things. That is jungle life. Sometimes I am eating in a village next to the people eating the rat. But the people know, before you get feeling too sick, the people know that I don't eat meat. And so they cook the things like with greens, and this little boy is chopping them. And so then they feed us. Now, we've been in this bamboo hut 4 years, and we've been bathing in the river, and we've been cooking our food outside, and we've been treating the patients in the middle of our house. And it has a bamboo floor, and so the babies don't wear diapers, you can imagine, and then the adults spit, and then they rub that spit out through the cracks of the bamboo floor. And so I prayed to the Lord, and I said, you know what, Lord, if I could just have a little cement room where I could keep my medicine on shelves. I'm crawling around in rainbow bags and finding things, and I could have a tile floor, and I could scrub it with Clorox. That would be so nice. But you know what? God doesn't want us to ask for small things. He wants us to ask for big things because He owns everything in the world, in heaven and in earth. He is ruler over all things. The means in our possession may not seem to be sufficient for the work, but if we will move forward in faith, believing in the all-sufficient power of God, abundant resources will open before us. If the work be of God, He Himself will provide the means for its accomplishment. He will reward honest, simple reliance on God. This sheds light on the Bible because the Bible is the biggest light to show us how to live and what to do. And He said, I own the cattle of 1,000 hills. Call upon me and I will answer him and show thee great and mighty things that thou knowest not. And surely enough, God is enough. God is enough. I would give everything away. As people came to me when I started, I had nothing, but there would be some little food I could give to somebody. There would be soap that I could encourage them to be clean. I could do massage. I could give my clothes. One day I gave my last jacket away to a little lady in cold season. It gets pretty cold because there's no heat or air, and you're in the open in your house. And she had been shivering, so I gave my coat to her, and it was my last one. And I thought, oh, I'm very cold-blooded too. I like the tropics and the heat. But the next week, my sister had mailed me a down jacket. And so this whole time we give and give and give. And the more we give, the more God gives to us. The petitioner will have the blessings when he needs it most, and it will often exceed his expectations. Now, we decided we would build. We step out on faith. This is a faith walk. We're not paid any money to be missionaries out there. I work under Jesus for Asia, which is a self-supporting institution, and they don't give you money, but we just go by faith, and they support us anytime and any way they can with prayer or with helping us. When we come to America, we go and we preach and we present what's happening, and actually, God takes perfect care of us. So when I prayed for a little room with a cement floor that I could wash, this is what God gave me. And I can tell you how it happened and how it all came together, but it's a very long story. That after 4 years in that little house, right above me there, we were able to put a house and a clinic right together. And we had pretty primitive builders from one of the refugee camps come with some young men. They didn't understand too much about cement. It looks beautiful, but as we've learned about building, the building is not really built very strong. But it fulfills all our needs, and I thank God for it every single day. So we went from this to this. And so as you can see, we are surrounded by the jungle, and we're the highest building on the highest part of the mountain overlooking the village. Not only did that year we were able to build that clinic, but we also got a solar system, because in this village there's no power, there's no phone service, there's no internet, there's no shopping, there's nothing. And so when breathing problems came to me, like asthma, COPD, bronchitis, I had to go down to a little government solar place and give them my breathing treatment, and then they had to walk back up the hill. You can imagine that's not very good for somebody that's really suffering from an acute asthma attack. But now we got the state-of-the-art solar system with batteries that are, is it iron? I don't know, that are encased, and you don't add the water to it. It lasted almost 6 years, but then we had to get another one, but it was inferior. Now it's all broken, but I'll tell you that story later. So we got that. Now let's go inside the house. I know you'd like to see inside, and whether you do or not, I'm going to show you. This is going through the door on the right side. You go into the living area and the kitchen, and then if you look to the right, you see the 2 bedrooms. And then the next door through is to the clinic. And this is the clinic. It's the most popular room, the busiest room in the place. And this is where we treat all the patients. Any kind of injections or sutures, people, I have a mat on the floor. And I also pull teeth, and that 5-drawer cabinet straight ahead is my dental equipment. I will tell you how the Lord provided for that. Now, we see, up to this point, we have seen patients from over 130 different villages. Now, I'm a nurse, right? And so I love to help the sick and see them get well and pray for them. But our main intention is to reach the lost and lead them to Jesus. But when you work in the medical profession, you get to the heart of the people, and then that's a bridge for them to find out about your God. And so I believe God has made me like a central location for the sick. And these are all of my patients represented by each card in this file folder. And I have another box behind me here with just that many, almost that many again. We have seen patients from over 130 different villages. And sometimes we say, well, you've passed 2 clinics, or you could have gone to that hospital, but you've come they've rented a truck, and these are poor people, or you're on that motorbike or walking, but you come here. And then they say, we heard you get well when you come here. And then I have a chance to say, well, you know, it's not me, it's God, because we pray with everyone when they come here, and God is the one that can heal. They come with many complaints. They come with weird things, and as a nurse, it's not in the books what they say. They will say, my heart is drying up. Or they'll say, the blood is coming from my legs, it's going up to my body, it's going back and forth, and when it gets to my head, I'm really in trouble. Can you help me? Well, and then they'll say, my brains are rotting out. And recently, somebody said, when I bend over, my brains are falling out. Can you help me? And so what does that mean? What do the people need? Well, the 3 main things that affect these people's health is, 1, they eat a lot of chili, so most of them have terrible gastritis. Number 2, they're not clean and poor hygiene leads to all kinds of skin problems, skin diseases, rashes, infections, you name it. And the third thing is they don't drink enough water. And so therefore, they have a lot of kidney infections, and so many, all your body is affected when you don't drink enough water. So all these symptoms of rotting brains and falling out and dry heart and blood going like this, the simple thing of water and a lot of natural remedies really work for these people. But to make them drink more water, you need to pray for them, because they'll think they drink a lot, and we say, well, how much? Well, they have a coconut shell and they dip it in a pot. They have these clay pots. They think the top is clean, and they dip the water, drink a few swallows, and throw the rest out. Maybe do that 4 times a day, and they've drunk a lot of water. Or they might be working in their rice garden all day long. They might drink out of the streams up there and get dirty water, so that's a big problem for them. But here they are. They come in truckloads and all interested to find out what it's all about here, because when they go to a hospital, usually the hospital staff are very bad to them, because Thai people are neat and proper and dressed and clean, and the people from the jungle come all dirty and smelly. Their babies don't have diapers. They smell of old urine, and the men on opium, they don't want to touch water, and they never take a bath. And so unless I'm right with the patient to see the doctor, they are not treated right. But if I care and I'm touching that patient and I'm asking, what about this and this, and do you think a liver profile would tell us anything? And then they take really good care. But the people come to me because they see we love them. We love them very much. And so they come. And when they come in groups like this, we get to take care of their health needs. Then we get to teach them a little bit, if we have time, on the porch about health, and pray with the people. So God can do many things, because in a simple prayer to these simple people that know nothing, you can kind of put a gospel story in a little prayer, and God can save. God can save these people. That's what He wants to do, and that's why He sent me there. But we have a lot of people and a lot of accidents, a lot of pain and suffering going on all around us. For three times a week, we travel to another village. It's nice in dry season. It's torture in rainy season, but it's worth it. As soon as we arrive, the people come. They want to be treated. They want to be checked. We really have a lot of fun for these people. God didn't put me in a group of savages that are trying to do harm. No, these are the most loving, gentle people. They make me all the clothes. I have about 50 skirts like this, because my people weave their own clothes. You can see what they're wearing, one thread at a time. They weave them, and so they will give me many, many things that they've made, or food out of their garden, or even something out of the jungle. If they don't have anything else, they bring it. We laugh and we talk with the people. We have a really nice time with them, encouraging and helping them. We work as a team together. We have these different bags of different colors. You can see a little bit there. Every color means a body system. One is for the stomach, one is for vitamins and minerals, one is for eyes, ears, nose, and throat, and skin. And I will give a lot of vitamin B shots. These shots help the people very much because they are deficient in vitamin B. So I break the ampules, blood jaw draws the medicine, and I give the shot. So I meant to warn you about the next picture, but it just came in unannounced. We get a lot of machete cuts because people use machetes for everything. They even cut their fingernails with a machete. So they will come to me at times, and I'm happy to be there at such a time. This man has cut himself trying to cut a huge tree branch, and slipped and cut his hand deeply. He stuffed it with tobacco. And I have no idea what made him stuff it with tobacco, but I'm glad I'm there to clean it out. It looks much better once it's cleaned out. And I need to put stitches inside and outside. So once it gets sewed up, it looks really pretty again. So he's very happy because he wouldn't have gone to the hospital. He doesn't own a Thai citizenship card, and so he would not have gone. And I can just imagine infection would bring him to lose his arm or die even. So he's very happy. I clean it every day. And then people come. There's a little government school right next to me, and so the students will come, and this one had a cut on his head, and so he has an audience to watch him while he gets his head sewn up. Now, another problem is betel nut. My people have many, many health problems, yet they're healthier than maybe you and people in Canada or America because they get a lot of outdoor exercise. They're working outside in their gardens all day, but the few habits are bringing them right down. They chew betel nut, and betel nut will blacken the teeth and ruin the teeth. It sucks out the nutrients out of their body. It gives them growths that turn to cancer around the mouth and neck and ear regions. And if they refuse to have that cut out, they end up in a very bad state with cancer. But as you can see, this lady's teeth are very black, and she's got that big lump of wad of betel nut there. And after I saw her, after a few years, I saw her again, and her teeth are worse. This is what happens when you chew betel nut like that. And their teeth, okay, here's how, in the jungle, this is how they do their betel nut.
Oh, she has a store in here.
And so then this is what the teeth look like. It's really, really bad. And you know, time after time in the beginning, people would come and they'd ask me to pull their teeth. Well, I'm not going to pull teeth. I don't know how to pull teeth. Somebody gave me a few old instruments, but I tucked them way in the back of the storeroom cupboard, and I'm not going to pull teeth. Well, one day, a young man came to me with a terrible toothache. I've never had a toothache, but I know it hurts really bad. But I wouldn't pull it. I didn't know how. And he went home, and he cut it out with a machete. He cut his tooth out with a machete. And then he came back to me with an infection in his mouth. And I thought, you know, Lord, I can do better than that. And so I had the book Where There Is No Dentist. I studied that book, and I could use my plastic syringe, and I could use my xylocaine, and I could do what the book said to numb it up, and how that instrument can pull a tooth. And so here's the first tooth I pulled. No, that's not the first tooth, but that's a yucky one I could show you, because when people come and they want their teeth pulled, it's the most smelly, horrible thing, and usually I'm eating my meal when they come, and I need to go and pull a tooth. That is worth it because the people get comfortable. Now, this is the first tooth I ever pulled in my life. I knelt down in front of that lady and prayed because I don't know, and God knows. And I inject that lower jaw, it will numb the whole left side, and then I pulled the tooth. It came out, and there it is. My first tooth with those old instruments. Well, one year I went to America, and I do presentations across America, and so in one place I was at in Idaho, I showed that picture and about my first tooth. And then as I left that presentation, I'm walking out, and a man falls in step with me, introduces himself, and he says, "I'm a dentist." I said, "Oh no, I'm really bad. I know I'm not doing these people justice to pull their teeth, but they're hurting so bad. I just do my best. I don't know what I'm doing." I thought he's going to chew me out, but no. He took me to where he lives, and he showed me a box of instruments. And I said to him, "Why did you bring that? Did you think you need to pull teeth here?" He said, "No, I was impressed that somebody would need it." And then he answered all my questions, and he gave me the box of instruments, and he gave me a large donation. But better than all of that, he came actually to my village 2 times and brought more supplies, all the dental supplies I'll ever need and more, and then teaching me too along the way. So here he is here teaching me. We went to the school that I started out in, and we checked all the students' teeth, and I got a lot of practice pulling teeth with him by my side. It was a wonderful blessing. And now, instead of those 2 antiquated dental instruments, this is what I have. I have everything I need, and I have a lot of instruction. But of course, I haven't been to school for 8 years like they are. But in the jungle, it can work. And so now I continue to pull teeth, and the teeth continue to come out. Sometimes it's really difficult, and I'm just wishing that dentist right there by my side, but God is by my side. God is working with me and through me, and these teeth are coming out, and the people are so relieved. In the year 2019, a group came to me as a school trip, and they are a beautiful singing group from Fountain View Academy. You might have heard about them because it's in Canada. Anyway, 12 of those students came to me singing, and with them came this dentist, Dr. Holt, and he brought a whole suitcase of dental equipment with him, and when we went to different villages, he would open it up, and we would pull teeth in the different villages. Usually what I do, I have them come to me because I have them sit in a chair and put their head, and it's easier and cleaner. But he is the knowledge. He's just excellent. And this dentist gave me more tips of how to numb if it's not numbing with 2 cartridges of xylocaine, and things that really helped me a lot. Here he is telling me things. I'm injecting.
You good? Slow and easy.
Can I go a little deeper?
So you're good on that. You can go a little bit deeper. You don't want to really bury that needle in that tissue. You're not trying to dissipate that. I would say in his case, you're about there.
And so that's how he instructed me. It's a really, really great experience. And so, as I told you, we go to a different village 3 days a week, as much as often as possible. We try to keep it to 3 different ones so that we can reach them with the gospel, but we also bring our rainbow bag of medicine and we go. This particular day, we have a lot with us. We're going to Quo village. Quo is a Karen word for wait a minute. So I don't know why they named it wait a minute, but it's a long ways away. We're going on our motorbike to see them and to give them blankets and mosquito nets because it's a small village and we can do that. There's only about 6 houses in that village. So we go, and when we get there, this is going on a motorbike, we treat people on the biggest porch possible that has the most light, and this would be the one in that village. And so when we went to that village, everybody comes, and they're very poor. They like to be out there by themselves in a little village because then their cows can wander and they don't have trouble finding them, and then they can do their garden plot without bumping into anybody else, and I guess maybe selfish reasons, but they are very backwards and they're very ignorant, maybe inbred even, I don't know, but these are people that Jesus died for, that Jesus loves, and look at them here, this group of people. We've treated all the sick. What happens after we treat the sick? They cook us a meal and we eat. At this time, we handed out our blankets and mosquito nets, and they are very happy to receive these things. Now, in my 15 years, in this little village of Biota, we're the ones that teach the Bible songs to the people in the villages. After we treat them, we eat their food and we do a worship with them. But this is the only time in my entire 15 years in Biota that they have given me a concert. They want to play me music. So let's just see what kind of music Quo has to give to me. He's all happy with himself. He's got that buffalo horn and he can play it. This is another instrument like a harp that they make themselves. Let's listen to that. And so then we eat with them. This was maybe be the worst meal I've ever eaten with people out there in the jungle, because usually you save because the rice has just been cooked. It's been boiled for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and and things have been boiled and cooked. But this stuff here seemed like it had set out for a couple of days. Flies were all over it. That's fish sauce. I am a total vegetarian, and so I'm eating some boiled gourd there, and with flies on it. It's also very old, and then it's on a wood floor. Usually it's a bamboo floor, and there's some splits in the bamboo, so if something you don't want to swallow, you can kind of get it out, and you can push it between the cracks of the bamboo. But that floor, you couldn't do that. Anyway, you know what? Everything we go through to drive out there, to carry things, to on the bad roads, and you'll find out more about the struggles we go through. It's all worth it, because when we tell the people about Jesus, watch the reaction. Watch these poor, ignorant people that know nothing about anything except how to grow rice. Look at the face. You tell a Bible story, and you explain a little moral from that story, and they are just entranced with it. They love it, and they ask questions, and they're learning about Jesus. All of you know way more about God than these people do. You can be a missionary. You can tell the people about God. You can do it. Everybody can do it. And these are a different example of another village treating the sick, and the different color bags we have to keep ourselves organized to treat the sick. He's drawing out the medicine, and he's telling the people not to smoke. Do you smoke? And they do, and he's telling them the dangers of smoking. I think I showed these pictures. I don't know how come. But they're really, really loving people. Now, once a month in dry season, we involve the whole church in helping others so that they can grow in their faith for Jesus too. And so we have gone to another village, and the whole church where I am has come to cook a food. We will feed the whole village, we will treat the sick, and we will teach them about Jesus. And so we have a fun time in the villages all day long, treating the sick, whatever their needs are. I write it down, because next time I come, they're going to say, whatever you gave me, it worked. And so I want to be able to know that. All kinds of sickness, and lovely people that we get to mingle with. That's in Lagla village. This one, we went to Medlagui village. Medlagui means goat. So it is a goat village, and it's the name of it. And this is a village of 13 houses. There's very easy then for us to give something to each family. So after we treat the sick and take care of their problems, the people from the church have visited everybody, and they're cooking, and we have these kind of primitive water filters to help people remember to drink water and to have clean water. And we had one to give to each family, and they're so excited to receive it. And then we get to eat the food together. Everybody from our church is cooking, and the people love it. They like this rice noodle with some kind of fish water in it. And then we get to have the best part, the worship, where we can tell them about God. I have learned a lot of Quran through the years, but I cannot preach and teach in it, and I cannot pray in it. And so Bleja, my worker, I will tell you more about him later. He's fluent in 5 languages. He can read them and write them, and he interprets for me. And so together we're a team, because we both want to help the people know God. Heaven is much nearer to the Christian who's engaged in soul winning than many suppose. And this is in that same village, in Medlagui village, and Bleja is describing in Quran language to these people the 10 Commandments simply, and what the Sabbath is all about, the 7th day. And to watch the people listen to that is this music to my ears. Never does the gospel put on an aspect of greater loveliness than when it's brought to the most needy and destitute regions. Then it is that its light shines forth with the clearest radiance and the greatest power. Because you remember in Corinthians, it talks about the devils put blinders on our eyes, but God came to remove those blinders, and that the light of the glory of the gospel of Christ can reach the people. And so that is what we want to do. you.